Most men think the way to turn a woman on is with smooth talking, pickup lines, and sweet-talking her with just the right word. That if you can tell her just the right things, she'll fall for you. But I'll tell you something that few other men will, and was the opposite of everything I thought I knew about women, which is that a woman's body is the gateway to her mind, and if you can touch her in just the right places in the right order, you can literally take control over her emotions, her thoughts, making her hornier than words ever could. And to do it in a way that is so stealth, so under the radar, that no woman could ever know what you're doing, which makes her absolutely powerless to stop it. And when you touch her in these very specific places, sexual impulses are sent straight to her brain, and she simply cannot resist them. And no matter how hard she tries, within just an hour or less, she may be naked in your bed, begging to bang your brains out. Now, if you're some guy who's already a smooth talker, who never runs out of interesting things to say, and can go on and on while hot women sit eagerly by, hanging on your every word, well, then this isn't for you. This is for men who want a proven, scientific way to fast-track their results and get a girl into bed without having to say anything more complicated than, hi. This is for men who want to skip all the long conversations, the frustrating and confusing pickup lines and scripts, and just get a girl into bed fast, without any bullshit or women playing mind games. Just some good old-fashioned fun. And this is exactly why I'm going to show you this trick. However, first I need to issue a quick warning, which is that this video contains personal secrets from a close friend, and he's only given me permission to share this with a limited number of men, because he doesn't want this secret falling into the hands of too many guys and losing its effectiveness. So once we hit our limit, this page will come down. And that's why I recommend you watch this now while you still can, because you won't find this secret in any magazine or book or website or on Google or YouTube. You will only find it here in this video here today. And this is not some lame pickup artist trick or seduction technique, and this is not anything about erogenous zones or the Kama Sutra or erotic massage. This is unlike anything you've seen before. And it allows you to take complete control over a woman's sexual nervous system, to control her thoughts and emotions, and to make her unbelievably horny in just minutes. Because the truth is, a woman's body is not wired to respond to words. Words only put her into a logical mood and make her ask all kinds of unhelpful questions like, how does this guy make me feel? Do I really like him? Can I see him as my boyfriend? What about my husband? Do I like the way he dresses? And these types of questions only increase your chances of getting rejected. If you've ever made a move on a girl and been pushed away or told no thanks, it was probably because she was in this logical state of mind. She was just being too picky. The trick is to get her in the mood for sex by activating the other, more primal side of her brain, known as the limbic system. This controls her most basic desires, including her desire for sex. And the fastest way to turn her on is through human physical touch. And if you touch her in just the right way, you can turn her into sexual overdrive and make her so horny so quickly that she absolutely loses control and has to fuck you. Sure, you might need a little casual small talk to fill in the gaps, but the words aren't important, and that's why this is so easy. It doesn't matter if you're shy or run out of things to say around women. You don't have to say much. And words are actually the slowest and most inefficient way to turn a woman on. Think about it. Words first need to be turned into thoughts, and those thoughts need to be reacted to, which create emotions. And finally, those emotions slowly start to turn her on. Whereas the right physical touch will bypass all that, sending sexual signals directly to her brain at light speed, and turning her on right away, eliminating nearly all the steps you'd normally have to go through to get a girl turned on. Just think about it. When you're having sex with a girl, there is tons of physical contact. Your hands are groping each other in every place imaginable, and she's moaning in ecstasy because it feels so good. All you're doing here is fast-tracking the process, making sex happen faster, and so naturally you're getting physical faster too. So how did I figure all this out? Well, I'm not an evolutionary physiologist or a brain expert. I'm just an average guy who was desperate to get laid. And while it's kind of an embarrassing story, my first serious girlfriend, the girl I thought I might someday marry, ended up ditching me one night to fuck another guy behind my back. I was so ashamed by what happened that I literally moved to the next town over and spent the next 3 years of my life mostly alone inside a small studio apartment, unwilling to leave the house or go out to meet new people. And call it luck or call it fate, but it was around this time that I met a guy named Manish, who people call Magic as his nickname. We bumped into each other at a lecture at the local college, which was one of the few things I occasionally left the house for. And one night later that week, he invited me out for drinks. But when I showed up, I was quickly caught off guard when I saw him surrounded by several really hot women. I was surprised because Magic has a terrible accent and a speech impediment that women would probably find very unattractive, and to top it all off, honestly, he's not a good-looking guy, not even close. And as I walked up to him, he introduced me to the girls and motioned for me to make a move on one of them. I felt a surge of anxiety rush over my body. I had no idea what to do. I wasn't good with women. Hot girls actually made me nervous. And I definitely didn't have any moves I could make on a girl. I was so scared that I'd embarrass myself if I even tried to make a move that I made up a story that my dog was sick and I had to leave. I know it was lame, but I figured it was better than crashing and burning or getting slapped in the face. Yet 3 weeks later, after a couple shots of tequila, I came clean to Magic about the real reason I left that night, and he admitted that at one point he was probably just as clueless as I was, if not worse. But what he told me next shocked me. A few years back, desperate for cash, he had worked as sort of a male escort. Not the kind with a bow tie and tearaway pants. This was an underground, high-end pleasure society that offered well-to-do women special services. Women who wanted a man who knew how to touch them the right way. A man who could give them the pleasure that their boyfriends and husbands never could. And after putting in literally hundreds of hours in with these women, driving them wild, making them moan in ecstasy and beg for more, he discovered that some of the most strange and unusual touches created the greatest explosion of pleasure inside women, making her feel both turned on and, sometimes, even in love. And it wasn't long before he had become the club's most in-demand man, beating out the other top dogs, men who were better looking, had bigger dicks, and claimed to know every sex technique in the book. Magic was getting requests coming in from horny housewives and undersexed businesswomen left and right, and making good money too. $250, even $300 an hour, if you can believe it. It wasn't long before he started testing his secret knowledge outside of the workplace, trying it out on dates and women he'd just met. And soon his dates were literally dragging him out of bars, restaurants, and movie theaters because they were so eager to go home and fuck him. After just a few months, he had organized his discovery into a simple system, a set of repeatable steps he could use again and again to turn a girl on almost any time he wanted. He even started using it on complete strangers. He saw a girl waiting in line at the bank, and he used the trick to fuck her. He saw a hot girl out at a restaurant celebrating her friend's birthday, and the next thing you know, they were fucking in the alley behind the bar. Even a girl shopping for groceries at the supermarket. Magic had found a way to activate the same level of extreme pleasure in a total stranger as he had in his high-paying female clients, and this weird loophole he'd discovered began changing his world entirely. I mean, just imagine walking around looking at all the hot women in your office, your gym, your local bar, even walking around on the sidewalk, and knowing that with just a few simple steps you could get these girls horny and eager for sex. The amount of options you'd have would be almost overwhelming. Now, when Magic first told me all this, I was pretty shocked. I was also a little skeptical, as I'm sure you might be too right now. I started thinking that maybe he was just getting lucky, or was only using it on ugly girls, or drunk girls, or total sluts. See, up until this point, I had only had one serious girlfriend, so something like this was completely outside of my reality. So one day, when we were grabbing a cup of coffee together, he did the only thing he could to prove it to me. He looked around the room, got up out of his seat, and got in line to order a drink behind a pretty cute strawberry blonde girl. He lightly tapped her shoulder, and she turned around, and I saw him do something with her hands. She immediately started smiling. Then he touched her somewhere else near her neck, and her eyes lit up, and her cheeks turned red. It was pretty obvious she was getting turned on. Even the girl taking the orders at the counter looked surprised. About a minute later, they got their coffees and walked out of the door together. Curious to see what was going to happen next, I followed them down the block and watched them sit on a bench across the street. At this point, it looked like he was using some other kind of touching technique, and I could see her getting very cozy with him on the bench. About 15 minutes later, they got up and started walking in the direction of his apartment. I kept watching them as they walked inside, just to confirm this was really happening. I mean, they had barely just met minutes ago. And later that day, Magic texted me, "So, do you believe me now?" I immediately pushed him for details and begged him to tell me how he did it. So he agreed to meet one night at a bar halfway between our homes, and he showed me everything. How he'd systemized his entire strategy, how he'd broken it down into simple yet effective steps that made it very easy to use. How he'd found a way to make the entire thing go under the radar so that no woman would ever know what you were doing until she was totally naked fucking on your bed. And just by following 3 simple steps, any man could use this to get laid. You didn't need to be rich or muscular or young, and there were no pickup lines or complicated details to remember. You didn't need to spend hours reading some manual or memorizing a bunch of techniques. It was all just fast, natural, and effortless. In less than 10 minutes, Magic had explained the most basic parts of the system. He showed me the exact pleasure points on a woman's body to touch, the simple trick to make it all feel as innocent as shaking hands. And if you follow his steps in just the right order, she'd slowly become so horny that she'd lose control and beg to fuck you. I was blown away by how easy it was, how fast it worked, and how I could use it almost any time I wanted to get some easy sex on demand. But what Magic said next caught me off guard. He turned to me and said, "Okay, now it's your turn." I chuckled nervously and told him I'd give it a try eventually, and I appreciated his help. But he looked at me and said, "You see that girl right there? Go use it on her right now." I realized he wasn't kidding. So I gulped, got up out of my seat, and slowly wandered over to the side of the bar where the girl Magic had pointed to was standing trying to order a drink. Now at this point, even though I technically knew the secret would work, and I'd seen Magic use it right in front of me, I still wasn't sure it'd work for me, especially the first time I was using it. She was pretty hot, and I was fairly certain I'd bomb and embarrass myself. But I said, fuck it, and found whatever shred of confidence I could. I walked by, used the seductive handshake technique Magic had showed me to start the process, and immediately I saw her eyes light up. And I recognized the look on her face from the girl Magic had seduced at the coffee shop just a week earlier. Now, even though I wasn't smooth with women, I could tell this girl was interested, and she quickly took control in a way I'd never seen a woman do before. Ignoring all her friends, she grabbed me by the hand and told me that we should ditch the bar and go back to her place for a glass of wine. I didn't really know what else to say, so I agreed. As we walked out of the bar and got into my car, she immediately started rubbing her hands on my shoulders and my chest. I could tell she was getting turned on even though I wasn't talking much at all. At this point, I was still fairly certain I'd blow it. I'd say something stupid, and she'd eventually realize I wasn't the cool or attractive guy she thought I was, and would end up leaving. But as we got closer to my place, she only seemed to get more turned on. Now she was rubbing my inner thigh, a sign that Magic told me meant she was close to the attraction climax and almost ready to have sex. We got out of my car and walked up the steps to my apartment in awkward silence. I still had no idea what to say. I'd never gone home with a random girl from a bar like this before, so I didn't exactly know how it worked, or what I was supposed to do. I opened the door and she quickly came in and slid her coat off onto my couch. I started to think that things were going to get uncomfortable if I didn't start talking or making a move on her, and maybe I should just tell her I had fun and we should call it a night. But at that moment she asked for a tour of my place, so I started to show her around. And when we got to my bedroom, she turned off the lights, pushed me hard onto the bed, jumping on top of me and pulling off my shoes and unbuttoning my shirt. Now, I know this probably sounds like a dream come true for most men, but at this point, I was so nervous and so overwhelmed by how fast it was all happening that I just didn't know what to do. So I lay there, doing nothing. But it didn't seem to slow her down one bit. After my shirt was off, she went to work unbuckling my belt, taking off my pants, then my underwear. I think I'd forgotten how long it'd been, so long since the last time I was in bed with another woman. Because when she finally wrapped her fingers around my cock, I felt a surge of pleasure so strong that it took every ounce of my energy just to stop myself from exploding in her hands right there on the spot. And when she finally slid off her panties, kneeled over my cock, put it inside her, it was so tight, so wet, so incredible. Somehow, in the months it had been since I last had sex, I'd forgotten just how good a pussy felt. And I didn't last too long, but up till that night, that was some of the best sex I'd ever had, and hands down the easiest sex I'd ever gotten. I mean, in my entire life, I didn't think it was possible to get laid this easy. I assumed that women required tons of work to get into bed, and you'd have to wait 3 or 4 dates, not hours. I kept thinking about that night, about how easy I'd gotten laid, and I was curious just how powerful Magic Secret was. So I spent the next month using it in all types of different situations, on all different types of women. And after trying the trick 7 different times, I was able to easily sleep with 6 of the women. Unable to keep my success to myself, I started telling my friends what was happening, and soon I was sharing it with them. 5 guys, then 10, then 20. It wasn't long before friends were coming to me, and total strangers were walking up to me at bars asking for what the hell my secret was. I've brought Magic tons of new clients, of all different ages, heights, and ethnicities, and it's worked for them just as well as it worked for me. One guy named Joseph, who I taught this secret to about 3 months ago, had this to say: "As a doctor and a surgeon, I'll back up your claims about how much pleasure women feel when a man touches the right way. I'm smart and I make a lot of money, but I'm a bit overweight and I've been stuck single for almost 2 years. I recently used your trick on a hot nurse on my floor, and she immediately took an interest in me. I followed your steps, and in less than 2 hours, we had gone from the break room to hooking up in my living room. This shit works." Next up, here's an email I received from a client named Rajat, who wrote this: "About a year ago, I made a move on a girl and it turned into a bad situation. Her friends yelled at me and the manager kicked me out of the bar. I've been scared as hell to talk to girls ever since. Yet your technique is so frickin' simple, it gave me the confidence to try again. I used it on a girl I saw out during a friend's bachelor party and it worked so smooth. She couldn't take her hands off me all night and we ended up going home together. All the guys were super impressed." And here's another one that really puts a smile on my face every time I read it. This is from Kevin C. "This video hit me hard. I'm 52, divorced, and my wife left me to be with her masseuse, who I'd been paying for the last 6 months before I found out they were screwing around behind my back. Since we separated, I've been pretty unhappy and stuck in a rut. Plus, dating these days is not the same as it was when I was younger. I felt lost, like there's nowhere for an older guy like me to meet women that doesn't feel weird or out of place. Turns out your simple strategy was all I needed. I've successfully used this to have a little late-night fun with a few ladies in my town, including my hairdresser and a girl at work. And now I've even got a hot girlfriend. Thanks!" Now remember, if you haven't had any success up until now, it's not your fault. This isn't exactly the kind of thing you just stumble upon, and you're not taught stuff like this in school. The secret went against everything I thought I knew. In most cases, it was the opposite of what I believed to be true about women. All of the books and articles I'd read out there tell you to take a girl on a date, to buy her dinner, to slowly court her and sweet-talk her, and tell her all the right things. And slowly you could win her over and she'd sleep with you. Or they'd promise some over-the-top magic phrase that would make any girl fuck you at the drop of a hat. But what Magic had shown me was different, and I think that's what really resonated with me. He didn't need any of these stupid gimmicks, he didn't use pickup lines, and in most cases, he preached that these complicated techniques only make things worse. And since meeting him, I've found a ton of evidence to back this up. For example, I found out what people call the dark side of the spa and massage industry. It's a $10 billion industry that's almost entirely female customers, and many of them are looking for what they call an erotic experience. A guy who knows how to touch a woman professionally. And this underground trend is growing so quickly, women are even talking about it online and in the pages of Cosmo. One girl named Olivia confessed this about her masseuse. "He got me hooked because he knows how to comfort me, relax me, turn me on, and make my entire body feel so incredible I want to moan in ecstasy." Another named Margaret wrote, "Oh my God, after a few minutes of getting me gently aroused, he opened Pandora's box and I had 7 orgasms in less than an hour. I left feeling euphoric." I didn't even know it was possible for a man to make me feel this good." And another, named Ellie, wrote, "He was a complete stranger I met on the train, and in just minutes we'd gone from an innocent handshake hello to a surge of pleasure shooting down my back and up my inner thighs that felt so good I thought I might come right there in front of him." Next, I found researchers at Rutgers University did a study where they hooked up women to advanced fMRI scanners, and they found that if you touched a woman in just the right places, her arousal levels would shoot through the roof, indicating near orgasm levels of pleasure, as you can see here. And that's an estimated nearly 100 times pleasure level than a man would receive from these touches. Just think about that the next time you touch a girl, even by accident, how quickly it could turn her on, especially if you knew the exact right spots to touch. And finally, the ultimate proof is this hidden camera video of my mentor Magic, using this trick in action on a real woman. This is Magic right here. As you can see, he's casually using his secret on this girl right here. At this point, he's using phase 1 of the system, which he calls the ignition phase. This phase ignites her sexual fuse and slowly begins to open her up to getting sexual. During this phase, her body temperature may start to rise, and you'll probably notice her smiling flirtatiously and becoming a little red in the face. And as we fast forward to the 40-second mark, we can see they're going somewhere a little more secluded to sit down together alone. This type of willingness to be alone with you is a sure sign she's ready for phase 2, which Magic calls the activation phase. This is when you open the floodgates of desire and start getting her really turned on. She may even hint at the idea of going back to your place and doing things with her body language to let you know she's thinking about sex. At this point, you'll really want to cut the talking to a minimum, even if she seems like she's enjoying it. This will help her enter a deep sexual state. When I first used Magic's trick, you may have noticed that I was too nervous to talk much, and that's one of the reasons it worked so well. Finally, let's skip ahead to the 12-minute mark. And just like that, right in public, they're making out. That's after only just a little more than 12 minutes. And I'll remind you, this isn't a third or fourth date. He just met this girl. And yes, using this strategy, it is totally normal for things to happen this fast, even if you have no prior experience. Now, keep in mind, even when a girl is this horny, she's almost never going to outright ask for sex. Instead, she's going to use a few key signs to tell you when she's ready. The first sign is lightly rubbing your inner thigh with her hand or thumb. The second is holding hands. I know this might sound silly, but if a girl is willing to hold hands with you, it's a huge sign she's ready for sex. And finally, making out is a big sign. The key is to not make out too much, or else you'll destroy all the sexual tension you've got going on. All right, now let's get to the good stuff. As we fast forward to the 30-minute mark, you can see that they're getting up and leaving to go back to his apartment together. Yes, that's after just 30 minutes. And here, right before the video cuts off, we see them going into his apartment together. Now, there is still one third and final step to close the deal. This final step is called the mental climax phase. I know, it might look like this girl is ready to go, but you don't want to make this rookie mistake. This final phase is critical to make sure she fucks you. Women can be very unpredictable. She can freak out or hesitate at the last minute if you ignore this step. Maybe it's happened to you before. You're getting hot and heavy, and then out of nowhere, she's pushing you off her, telling you she wants to wait, and that it's late, and she needs to get going, leaving you stuck alone with a rock-hard boner in your hand. That's why this one final phase is required to push her over the edge and make her feel so much lust and desire for you that she just can't help but tear her panties off to fuck you. A level of sexual tension and desire that is so intense that she will have no choice but to relieve herself by riding your cock. And she will be willing to do almost anything to get it, becoming deeply submissive and eager to fulfill your wildest fantasies. Or, if she's the aggressive type, she may try to take control of the situation and do all the work for you, all the way down to removing your clothes and giving you the ride of your life. Now, I know I might sound kinda casual talking about all this, like it's no big deal. But the first time I saw Magic do this, I was literally in disbelief. And since then, I've literally seen Magic take home probably close to 20 different girls. I've used it myself so many times I've lost count. I've heard so many success stories from friends and acquaintances that I literally cannot remember them all. But really, this isn't about me or magic or my friends. This is about you and getting you laid. And that's why at this point I'd like to put the secret in your hands and show you how to enjoy all the easy sex that myself, Magic, and all his students have been enjoying. So without wasting another second, I'd like to formally introduce you to my mentor Manish Magic Leone and his breakthrough discovery, the Silent Seduction System. This is the only system that allows you to skip all the pickup lines, long, boring conversations, and stressful mind games that most men think are required for sex, and seduce her with the most powerful tool of all, silence. So you can get her horny and ready to fuck faster than you ever thought possible. With just a few innocent touches in just the right spots on her body, you'll activate her arousal and mating mechanisms and make her want to fuck you fast. And the best part is, you won't have to worry about rejection or getting turned down. You won't have to worry if she's interested or not, or even wonder when she's ready to make out or have sex. All you have to do is follow these simple steps, and the system will do the rest for you. It's that simple. And just like this, you can enjoy easy sex from women. Girls will curl up to you, rub their hands over your body, and grab you like they want you more than any man they've ever met before. You'll just feel how horny she is for you, and you can just relax with almost complete certainty that you'll be fucking her by the end of the night without any games or hesitation. And Magic has designed the program so you can get started immediately, while still allowing you to master the system if you want to be a total expert. That's why there's no long, drawn-out introduction here, no fluff, no filler. In fact, let me give you a taste of exactly what Magic is going to teach you. First, Module 1 of the system is all about getting laid fast, which is why it's titled the 7-Minute to Sex Jumpstart. In this module, you'll discover the seductive handshake. This simple greeting will turn her on so quickly she won't even know what hit her. This technique ignites her sexual desire fast, and you may notice her whole demeanor change as a powerful sexual impulse is sent to her brain. You'll get the foolproof 4-word conversation starter. Never worry again about what to say to a girl. This mind-blowingly easy phrase takes care of everything and is almost rejection-proof. The power positioning technique. This simple body language technique puts you in the position of power, making her submissive and eager to please you and sleep with you. The 4 dangerous disconnection topics you must avoid that will activate the logical side of her brain, causing her to act cold, distant, and unfriendly. The 2-finger Swedish slide technique. On a trip to Sweden, Magic observed all the men greeting women with this seemingly innocent touch, yet it was extremely erotic and would turn women on immediately. He brought it back home and started using it with amazing results, and now he's going to share it with you. The 3-step conversation reversal formula. Not a big talker? This simple trick will get her to carry the whole conversation for you, so you can sit back and relax. The snake bite technique. This is an innocent little trick using your thumb and your middle finger on the back of her neck in just the right place. It will literally make her feel weak in the knees. Women love this, and she will melt in your hands every time you use it. After trying some of these techniques out, Craig D said, "I'm using this handshake on like every girl I meet. It's dynamite. I love watching their faces get so turned on from the very first second. Even my brother used it to get a girl, and he's one of the worst around women I've ever seen." Now, with just a few of these techniques, most girls won't even stand a chance, but we're not even close to done. In Module 2, you're going to take things to the next level and make her even hornier, setting her on a crash course to fucking you as fast as humanly possible. In this module, you'll discover the magnetic mirroring technique that makes her feel closer and more relaxed around you, quickly getting her in the mood for sex. Use this and you're going to notice her cuddling up to you and touching you almost uncontrollably. The seductive seating technique. This allows you to make sure you're seated in the best possible position to access her pleasure points, while making sure she stays relaxed and comfortable. The domination sequence. This is a series of spots you can touch to make her vividly start to imagine sex with you. For women, this type of mental imagery is even more powerful and detailed than anything you could ever tell her with words. The subliminal orgasm spots. She may be too shy to admit it, but if you touch her in any of these 3 places, she will be squirming in her pants at an oncoming surge of pleasure she suddenly feels down there, even though these spots are not remotely close to her pussy. The trail of fire. This is an ancient technique that originated in Japan, and Magic has found a way to integrate it into his method. If you do this for just 3 to 5 minutes, she may feel so much pleasure that you may literally see her body shaking. 12 emergency sex locations to take a girl when she's horny and wants to get down to business right away. These aren't typical places like a hotel room or the back seat of your car. These are secret locations Magic's found that most men never think of. For example, women love having sex outdoors and especially in nature. But it must be somewhere clean and secluded. Magic will show you 3 amazing outdoor locations to have sex that every man has access to no matter where you live, and much, much more. The smooth sailing phrase to get her to get back to your place resistance-free. Worried a girl might reject you if you invited her back home for sex? This simple phrase will instantly solve all your problems. Matt K. wrote in to say, "Thank God you included these emergency sex locations. I've used almost every one on the list. I still live with my parents and can't always take a girl home, so this was very helpful." Now by this point, her panties will be so thoroughly soaked, she may literally be rubbing her legs together in anticipation of fucking you. But you're still not going to let her have it. Nope, you're going to drive her even wilder in Module 3, which contains Magic's advanced tactics and techniques. You'll discover the incredible orgasm commands. These are short, powerful words that can be used in combination with touching a woman that can enhance the power of the system and even make her feel a mini orgasm just at the mention of them. The Freudian Control Index. This is a spot that goes all the way back to her childhood. She knows deep inside that any man who touches her this way is going to be dominant and in control, which will make her totally submissive and eager to obey your every command. 5 sexual overdrive phrases. Whisper these phrases in her ear while using the system to seduce her even faster. When you use these phrases, it will feel like your words and your fingers are double-teaming her together, taking her to a sexual state that is so intense she may even moan out loud at the pleasure of it. The bulldozer technique. If a girl has ever told you, "I think we should wait," right before you are about to have sex, then you know how frustrating it feels. This simple technique will overcome almost any of her last-minute resistance, and even leave her asking you to undress her all of the sudden. Speed undressing techniques to get her naked fast. How to unhook her bra as easy as snapping your fingers. How to get a woman out of skin-tight jeans without tugging or pulling. A simple way to get her shoes off. These little-known tactics keep things moving forward and keep her in deep sexual trance and ready to fuck. After using these advanced techniques, Anush said this, "The orgasm commands were amazing. I used them on a girl who's a fuck buddy, and now, almost any time I want, I can make her so horny she's squirming in her pants with just a few words." And finally, as a special surprise for you today, Magic is including a 4th bonus module. This was normally only available to his long-term clients as part of an advanced class costing over $1,000 to attend. But I talked him into including it in your order today absolutely free. This module is called Total Sexual Control, because this is all about taking your power over women into overdrive, so you'll have complete control over her. In it, you'll discover the friend reversal technique. You'll discover the simple secret to get out of the friend zone and into her bedroom, turning even the most stubborn friend into a passionate lover or fuck buddy. The mature man's guide to mastery. Are you an older guy? Great. Women love an older man's experience and confidence and knowledge. Magic has designed specific techniques to help older guys get even more out of his system. The age calibrator. Not all women are the same. A woman's body and mind changes as she ages. You'll discover specific techniques to fuck both these hot young college girls and those older women and MILFs. Universal pussy magnet. How to adapt Magic's system to seduce women of all major nationalities and cultures. Use it to fuck Asian girls, Eastern European women, Latinas. These simple adjustments let you fuck all types of girls, even if she barely speaks English. The hot wiring technique. This advanced technique is so powerful, it can even seduce a girl who is married or who has a boyfriend. I'm not a homewrecker and I certainly don't support cheating, but some women like to cheat and others are just unhappy in their relationship. This is powerful, but it's up to you who to use it on. After using the friend reversal technique, Teddy wrote to say this, "I knew a chick for 3 years who told me she'd never fuck me because she didn't want to ruin our friendship. So the other night, I invited myself over to her place to watch a movie and used your trick. And less than halfway through, she's so horny she just can't keep her clothes on, and we have sex that same night. 3 frickin' years, and this is the one thing that finally got her in bed. And that's just a taste of what you're going to find inside this system. And the whole thing will be demonstrated on a real live model so you can see just how easy it is. Now, until today, the only way to get your hands on this secret was to learn it directly from Magic through a discreet personal coaching session. And even if you were able to find him and convince him to show you his secret, it would still cost you a minimum of $1,000 for his time these days. However, today I have some amazing news. For the first time ever, Magic is trying out the idea of allowing a small number of men into a brand new online version of his training. This training features all the same information you'd get from one of his personal coaching sessions, yet it's been optimized into a fast, easy system that can be absorbed with super efficiency. Now, Magic wants to fill up his test group quickly and quietly, which is why he's offering a rare special deal to a limited number of men. Which means if you join his training today, you won't have to pay the $1,000 that his original clients paid. You won't even have to pay half that, or even $250. Today, you'll get access to all modules of Magic's Silent Seduction system for just $69.95. That's not a payment plan. That's not $69.95 a month. That's just one single payment of $69.95, period. No hidden charges or fees. All you need to do to get started is to just click the button below and see if you qualify. If you break down this payment over the next 30 days, it adds up to just $2.33 a day. That's less than a cup of coffee at most places. And that's before I include the additional $486 worth of free bonus gifts you're going to get today. First, Magic is going to give you his Silent Seduction Speed Guide. This is a simplified version of his system that contains only the most powerful parts so you can get laid as fast as possible, or use it to get a quick overview of his steps with just a quick glance. Fold it up and put it inside your wallet, or view it on your phone for fast, discreet access anywhere, anytime. So you never have to worry about remembering anything or wonder what to do next. After using this bonus, Omar E. wrote this: I haven't even checked out the full course yet, but your speed guide is already working crazy on chicks. Got one girl in bed at a friend's party last night, and gonna use it again on my date tonight. Magic usually sells this speed guide for $47, but he's giving it to you today free. Second, you'll get the pleasure map. If you're a visual person, this bonus is perfect for you. This visual map of her body shows you exactly how and where to touch her to get her turned on fast. No long words or paragraphs of text, just simple, quick visual demonstrations. This is easier than reading a kid's book, and it's faster than going back and watching all the demonstrations in Magic's videos. And with just a quick glance, you'll instantly know the most important details to seduce her fast. For example, just slide your fingers here to instantly make her relax in your arms. Then touch her here to give her goosebumps everywhere. Then slowly let your leg lean against her like this, and she'll slowly get turned on and aroused. The pleasure map makes it all idiot-proof. Magic usually sells this bonus to his clients for $37, but it's yours free today. After checking on this bonus, one of my students named Thomas wrote, "The map makes it so simple. I just look at it once before I go out or go on a date, and I know right away what to do to get her into bed." Next, you'll get Underground Hookup Hotspots. You'll discover the secret places women go to get laid that almost no men know about. These aren't obvious places like a bar or nightclub, and it's not somewhere you can't get into like the Playboy Mansion. These are places most guys have no idea even exist. And all types of women go to these places to get laid, even good girls. Magic will show you exactly where they are and where to find them in your city or town so you can find the hottest, horniest women in your area. One guy named Hero used this guide and wrote me this: "It's hard to find good places to meet women, but I used this to find 3 solid joints to meet hotties. I would have honestly never thought of places like these, and the girl-to-guy ratio is insane. Magic sells this to clients for an additional $49, but it's yours free today." And that's not all. He's also going to include the Sex Cave Blueprint. This is an advanced blueprint to turn your home into a sexually charged environment that naturally makes women feel safe, comfortable, and eager to have sex. This is the ultimate complement to the Silent Seduction system, because once she sets foot inside your home, her sexual feelings towards you will intensify even further. and she will find herself suddenly eager to get as comfortable as possible, removing her clothes and eventually having sex. The blueprint also helps you remove the 12 red flag items from your home that turn women off and ruin sex. Some of these items can scare a woman off so bad she will never come back. This bonus normally sells for $67, but it's yours free today. Next, you'll get 27 signs she wants to fuck. This fast and easy system will show you the hidden signals women send when they are desperate to get laid, allowing you to quickly spot the horniest girls in the bar or party. Most of these girls are so horny they will practically go home from the moment you open your mouth, which means no games and no bullshit. You might see these unusual sex signals from a female friend, a hot coworker, or a horny college girl. And this system knows which ones are in the bag, ready to fuck, so you can score the fastest and easiest girls you've ever got in your life and never risk rejection. When combined with Magic's silent seduction system, it creates a powerful 1-2 punch that will make sex almost effortless. Matthew M. wrote me after purchasing this bonus. These signals make it so obvious which girls are interested and want to hook up. I can go to any bar or crowded place in the country and instantly tell you who the horniest girls are on the spot. I'd say this makes it at least twice as easy to get laid, and I'm a guy who was already doing pretty well for himself. This one is $47, yours free today. Okay, I'm not done yet. This one is hands down my favorite, because naturally when you start getting laid, a lot of you begin thinking about the next level stuff like this. This next bonus is called the 3X Threesome System, and it's all about applying Magic's silent seduction system to seduce 2, even 3 women at the same time. You can use it to seduce a girl and her best friend, 2 hot sorority sisters, your 2 favorite strippers at your local strip club. I even ended up going home with a girl one time, and her roommate just happened to be in the living room when we arrived. So I used this simple system to get them both horny out of their minds and fuck them both. Magic usually sells this for $169 because it's an advanced level course, but for today, he's agreed to include it for free. Stefan wrote about this bonus. A week after getting this, I had the first threesome of my entire life. This is pure gold and easily worth double the price. And finally, you're going to get the high-performance sex system. If you're going to be fucking a lot of girls, then this is stuff you're just going to have to know. How to last longer in bed, how to shoot bigger loads, how to get harder, stronger erections that even make your dick look and feel bigger, how to maintain your cock using natural supplements and key foods to make sure it stays strong, healthy, and drives women absolutely wild. No crazy or dangerous supplements here, just all-natural techniques to turn your dick into a pussy-pleasing machine that can keep girls coming for hours. And like any high-performance piece of machinery, you're going to want to keep your cock in top shape. Women are obsessed with a man's cock, what it looks like, what it tastes like, how big and firm it is, how quickly it gets hard, and how long it stays hard. And the truth is, it doesn't need to be the size of Mount Olympus to drive her wild, and that's why Magic included this guide. Because the shittiest feeling in the world is knowing you lost a girl because you couldn't perform in bed, and it's totally unnecessary. All you have to do is follow these simple steps. You'll never have to worry about it again. Steve P. wrote in about this bonus. So glad you included this. I'm terribly nervous and bad in bed. I finish too fast, often can't even get hard. It's so embarrassing I usually avoid sex. Thanks to some of these great strategies, I'm now having regular sex, haven't had a performance issue in months. This is normally a $70 course, but it's yours free today. So when you add it all up, speed guide, pleasure map, underground hookup hotspots, sex cave blueprint, 27 signs she wants to fuck you, 3X threesomes, and the high-performance sex system, it all adds up to $486 in free bonus gifts, bringing the total value of your purchase today to $1,486. But you're still just going to pay $69.95. And just to take one extra step and completely eliminate any risk you might still feel, I'm going to give you what I call my Get Laid or Get Paid guarantee, which states that you can access this program anytime in the next 60 days, that's 2 full months, and at any point during that time, if you're not getting laid as much as you want, if you're not getting the quality of women you want, and if it's not as fast, easy, and effortless as you want it to be, then all you have to do is email myself or one of my friendly support staff 24/7 at support@gothamdatingclub.com, and you'll be given an instant refund. No questions asked and no hassles. And you can even speak to a real live person on the phone if you want to. All you need to do to get started now is to just click the button below to see if you qualify. Now perhaps you're wondering if this is really going to work for you, if it's really going to get you laid or get you a girlfriend, and I can relate to that, especially if you've tried other advice in the past and it didn't work. And I'll be the first to admit this program isn't for everyone. First of all, you will have to touch a girl. And while these techniques are stealthy and will go totally under her radar, if you're too nervous to even shake a girl's hand, well, then there's not much I can do to help you. And you'll probably want to start somewhere more basic, because you can't get laid or get a girlfriend if you never touch her. However, if you think you're ready for this, then I'll be the first to tell you it is the fastest, easiest, most powerful way to get a girl into bed that you'll find, even if you're not all that experienced with women right now. Now here's what's going to happen once you click the button below. First, I'll check to make sure there's still space left in the program for you. As I mentioned before, this is limited to a select number of men, and the program could fill up at any minute. As long as there's still space, you'll be taken to the payment page to enter your billing info and secure your space in the program. Remember, your space is not secure until your order is processed. This order page uses top-of-the-line 256-bit secure SSL technology to ensure your safety and privacy. This is the same technology that trusted companies like Google, Microsoft, and Apple use. And I've gone overboard by having your purchase verified by VeriSign, Norton, and Trustee. The charge will appear discreetly on your next credit card statement simply as Gotham Club 23, and nothing will ever be mailed to your house under any circumstances. Gotham Club LLC is a trusted company that has been in business for over 5 years right here in the United States, with hundreds of satisfied customers and a top A rating from the Better Business Bureau for outstanding customer service. All you have to do to get access is just click the button below now to see if you qualify. Now, at this point, there are really only 2 directions you can go from here. First, you could do nothing and just keep going through the grind of trying to get laid, or spending hours on online dating sites, risking rejection and embarrassment, putting up with all the rudeness and the mind games women play these days, and dealing with the confusion of it all. Or perhaps you'll end up like I almost did, sitting around alone on the couch, hoping that the right woman will eventually come around and that everything will work out like it does in the movies. But it rarely ever does. I've already seen too many men who gave up completely, only to bump into them 2 or 3 years later to find them still stuck in the exact same place. Yet you're different because you're here today, and that tells me you're unwilling to give up and accept defeat. Right now, you have a chance that most men never will, to discover the secret to get hot women wrapped around your finger fast and easy and have them begging you for more. Magic's done all the hard work for you. All you have to do is just discover his secret and enjoy its amazing benefits. No more late nights wondering when or if you'll get a girlfriend or get laid. You can just call up one of the many women who are eager for your touch, and in under an hour she can be in your bed, moaning in pleasure right in front of you, as you see her incredibly hot body naked in front of you. There's nothing better in this life, and if you're not enjoying this right now, you're literally letting your life pass you by. I'll bet you see plenty of hot girls every week that you'd like to fuck. Blondes, brunettes, redheads, younger girls, older girls. And now you can finally take your pick. So what are you waiting for? You've heard the success stories, you've read the testimonials, you've seen live video proof, and you're getting an unheard of 60-day money-back guarantee. All you have to do is click the button below to secure your order now, and Magic and I will see you on the inside in just a second.